Evening, Commissioners and Councilmember Ariola. I just have a brief presentation updating you on some of the projects and their statuses. I'll focus on the ones that have seen movement in the past month. And so most of those are going to be your cycle 6, your reallocation, and the cycle 7 agreements. Today we had 6 checks go out for PB. So we've executed those agreements, have submitted the request, and they're going to be receiving the full grant amount so that they can spend those funds in our community without having to kind of pull into the reserves and get reimbursed. So again, they're going to be getting their funds fully upfront. 6 are getting their checks this week. We have 2 GVRD contracts. The one was an amendment and one is the new contract for the exercise fitness trails. Those agreements are executed and we're working on getting the PO set up so that we can issue the check. And then we currently have 3 school district contracts that are in the process of being routed. We got the final approval on insurance, and so we're routing those, and that's for the after school sports program, for the bully proof program, and then also for the bully proof after school, and then the STEAM program. And so those 3 are currently in progress. So they'll be the ones kind of getting checks right after we execute their agreement. And then we continue to work with the Humane Society and the Solano County Probation Department on a couple of the cycle 7 agreements, one for the animals project, and then another one for the reentry for offenders program. So we're working on some template changes. So just working out the scope of work, and then those are the next ones kind of in the batch, ready to go out. And so we've made some significant progress. There's lots of contracts flying around. We're doing our best to keep all of these projects moving forward. And that concludes my report on what's been going on in the past month. I'm happy to answer questions. Looks like Commissioner Kayenge.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. I have a question regarding the cycle 4 911 emergency call center. Now that's been completed, is it possible like report on like the improvements, like from staff, especially the 911 emergency staff, like the improvements, like it has improved the following?
Yeah, so we can definitely go back and ask staff if we can get a presentation regarding that project. It was our IT department that implemented that upgrade. So we'll have to check in to see if it's more appropriate for our IT department who implemented that project to do it, or if we're able to get someone from dispatch to speak to the new equipment, but we can certainly look into that and then get back to this group.
Okay, yes, be good to hear the improvements, like has it improved reduction of when you call 911, what was the improvements there and so on. And then my next question is regarding the cycle 5 street and pothole repair. Do you have a idea which streets have been identified towards filling the various potholes on the various streets?
No, so I do not. The information I have from our Public Works Department is that they continue to work on the backlog of potholes within the city. And so they're using those funds based on that priority. And so those are kind of throughout town. We don't have specific streets or locations, but right now that's what they're being used for. Okay.
And then my next question is the cycle 6, the street safety, bicycle and street repair. Out of the $300,000, how much of that is going to the Bay Trail, Vine Trail? And then how much is that going to go to bike racks? And then how much is the rest of it going to go to street and bike lane and fixes?
So my understanding is that the majority of those funds are going to go towards supporting the Bay Vine Trail, because that one is just a really big project. I believe so far 3 bike racks have been purchased, and I think I don't have the exact amount, but I would say it's probably like 2,000 or less towards those bike racks, and then I believe the remainder is going towards the larger project.
And as for the remainder, by any chance, do you have like the street names handy that's going to get the street and bike route, bike lane improvements?
No, so as I mentioned, the entirety of that is going towards the Bay Trail project.
Right.
So not specific streets, just towards the fund of that big capital project.
Okay. And then my question on cycle 6, the improvement and repairs to the Florence Douglass Center. Will there be like a community event when the project's complete to recognize the improvements or something to that nature?
No,
Just like
I don't
the Capitol
believe
Street
so.
stairs.
No, I don't believe so. Since these are mostly kind of back end projects. So fixing some of the equipment and the lighting, it's not kind of a grand review.
Okay. And then lastly, regarding cycle 7, the financial literacy for youth and families, the staff reports talks about it's on hold pending the audit findings. Is there an estimation when that's going to be completed, and will our commission receive that report once it's all done?
So this is something that has been brought up at the past couple of meetings, and so sorry, I have an angry dog, and
worries.
so sorry, I'm promoting Tara to be one of our panelists and trying to control the
you.
animal.
I was trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so for that project, as we mentioned previously, we have an independent auditor working on the report for us. And so we anticipate that that will be done within a month. And again, depending on what the findings are, we'll decide whether that's something that we can share with this group. Certainly if it's public information, then it's something that we can share. If there are findings, then that's something that's going to have to go through a city attorney's office and potentially to council in closed session. But at this point, we have no indication of which route it'll take. As always, we'll share whatever public information is available.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Ariola.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Felicia. So I'm new to the whole thing here. So and it's very tiny and stuff. So as you were scrolling through the different cycles, one popped out at me, and I don't recall what cycle it was on, but it was funding that went to Vallejo PD to purchase 40 radios. I'm not sure what type of radio. I think it said 40 radios, handheld radios, maybe, I think I saw. And I just wanted to know when upgrading handheld radios. Okay, so upgrading, and then it says replacing. Outdated, upgrade from analog to digital, enhanced communication, and project complete. When was the project completed? When did they propose enter their name into the PB, and when was it complete?
So yeah, I was going to say this was a cycle what was that, 6 projects? So cycle 6 would have been fiscal year 1920, which meant that they would have collected the ideas and got the Vallejo Police Department support for this in October of 2018.
Oh, okay. And then, so cycle 6 was 2019-20?
Fiscal year.
Fiscal year 29, and so that's when it was completed. It says final.
Sorry.
Just completed. So I guess I just wanted to know when were the funds fully spent?
And so I don't have too much information to share on this project because I started in the city manager's office in October of 2020, and at that point the funds were fully spent. So we know that before that point, the project funds, the PB portion had been spent. And to answer your other question, this was funded in fiscal year 1920, so it wasn't necessarily all spent in that fiscal year, but that's where the funding for the project came from.
The reason why I'm asking is because of that timeline, because you said it was before your time, and clearly it was before my time. And subsequently, once I got into office, more radios were, the Vallejo PD were asking for more money for radios. So I'm just trying to look at, okay, so there were radios that were purchased then, and then council was asked to provide funding for radios. So I got the dates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.